Everybody is imperfect. Even those people who make out that they've got it all figured out, especially them, they're all imperfect. I'm imperfect. You're imperfect. We all are. But we go through our lives comparing ourselves to everybody else, and we can't help it. As humans, we just assume that that person that we're looking at in the pub, in the coffee shop, the person whose life you're seeing on social media, online, you just assume that their life is so much better than yours, don't you? The person who pulls up next to you in a brand new Tesla or a Range Rover, or in my case, the car that would make me think this person's got their life figured out, would be a Jeep Wrangler. But I'm going to launch the biggest news flash of all, and we all know it. Nobody is perfect. Everybody has got their shit going on. Everybody's dealing with something. That's one of the reasons why I'm not judgmental in my life. I try not to judge people to the best of my ability, because you don't know what someone's going through. None of us do. It's easy to get angry, to get annoyed with somebody when you're in the traffic in your car, or if somebody jumps in front of you in a queue. We think those people are the worst people in the world, don't we? We jump to conclusions that they're a horrible human being. How could they do that to me? How dare they cut in front of me in a queue? How dare they cut me up at a traffic light? Where's the dog gone? Ella! Oh, she's over in the sea. Let's have a conversation today as I walk along the beach about imperfection and why it's okay not to have it all figured out and not to be perceived as being perfect, or not try to put out the persona that your life is perfect, because it just belittles everybody else. It makes everybody else feel really down about themselves if you make out that your life is also perfect. So I've got 4 parts that I want to talk to you about today as we wander along this winter beach on the 22nd of December. We've just gone past winter solstice. The perfect time to come down on the beach and reflect about imperfection. And my first major point today is this myth of having it all together. Popular culture sells us this myth that somewhere out there's a human who's got it all together. They've got their shit together. They've nailed life. Perfect body, perfect career, perfect marriage. They're able to they invite you around for dinner and they can make you the most exquisite, perfect sourdough starter. You know those people? But every once in a while, reality taps us on the shoulder. That celebrity that we think is just perfect, the one with the spotless image, turns out that they're exhausted, anxious, and just one bad decision away from a headline. The tech genius who promised to change the world, he's human, he's sloppy, very much ego-driven, and prone to saying something stupid on social media at 2 a.m. like the rest of us. Even these overnight success stories, these 20-something influencers, they've got stuff going on too. They've probably had, since hitting their teens, they've had 3 or 4 years of self-doubt, of questioning themselves. Nobody is perfect. And here's the kicker: when we find out that that perfect person isn't perfect, we find ourselves surprised every time. But we shouldn't be, because humans aren't designed to be perfect. We're designed to try, wobble, learn, and spill coffee down our perfectly crisp white shirt 5 minutes before an important business presentation. And Socrates, was it he who famously said, "The only true wisdom is knowing that you know nothing," which I guess is philosopher speak for relax, you're winging it like everybody else, and that's okay. Part 2 news flash here is that being a perfect, beautiful mess in this life is okay. We're all a bit dirty, we're all a bit grimy, we're all a bit grubby, we're all a bit seedy, we can all be a bit devious, we're all prone to telling white lies. Some of us tell big, fat, whopping lies. But that's what makes us all unique, that's what makes us all human. We're perfectly imperfect in many ways. If you look at the news today, politics, business, culture wars, everybody is being exposed as being human. Flawed judgment, poor timing, a badly worded message that explodes onto social media as a meme that's shared thousands and thousands of times. And the internet responds with moral outrage like it's some kind of an Olympic sport, I guess. But here's what fascinates me. We demand or we expect perfection from other people, yet if we are not perfect, of which we're not, we just sell it off as a bad day, don't we? We think, oh, we've had a bad day today, we'll come back stronger tomorrow. It's okay to have those bad days, and they don't need a label. It's just life. That disconnect is where stress lives. We're living in an age of impossible standards. Perfect parenting, perfect health, perfect productivity. Meanwhile, life is just quietly whispering away to you, mate, just do your best. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius, he wrote that if you are distressed by anything external, pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. Translation for modern life, it's not your imperfections. It's not your imperfections causing the pain. It's your belief that they shouldn't exist. Part 3 is all about where the mask slips. Yeah, let's call it where the mask slips. And that's actually a good thing. So here's one of the many beautiful things about getting older. You stop pretending. Your back goes, your patience shortens, your tolerance for nonsense evaporates like morning mist, and suddenly perfection loses its appeal. You suddenly realise you don't need to be impressive anymore. You just need to be honest in life, because that's what it's all about. Midlife is where the mask slips, and thank goodness, 40 plus, 50 plus, we stop chasing perfection. We start to relax, we start to find our own peace, our own clarity, and we realise that perfection has been a myth sold to us all along. I personally think authenticity is far more attractive than flawlessness. You've lived long enough to know that the most interesting people on this planet aren't the polished ones. They're the ones that are covered in scars, deep-seated scars, stories to tell. People that we admire and look up to because of what they've been through, not because of what they have or what they put out there. You know, it's the ones who failed, laughed about it, rebuilt, failed again, tried again, and then spoke about it and had a good giggle over a pint. And here's a little bit of cosmic ordering for you. What if your imperfections aren't obstacles but signposts? What if those cracks are exactly where the light gets in? You know, Leonard Cohen said that, and he was right. Part 4, let's say perfection is boring, and why perfection is boring. Because it is. So let's be honest, perfect people are dull, dull, dull. Dull as the day is long. You know, they make terrible stories, they teach us absolutely nothing. They would be horrible people to sit next to at a dinner party. I think all growth in this life lives in the messy, the dirty midlife. The ones of us who are scarred, the ones of us who've failed over and over again. They're the people whose stories I want to listen to, not the person who succeeded on their very first attempt and has never experienced adversity or despair in their life. Failure teaches, embarrassment humbles, and mistakes sharpen wisdom. And when we pretend otherwise, we rob ourselves of compassion. For others and for ourselves, it has to be said. I've messed up enough things in my life. Careers, relationships, I don't know, haircuts even. But every one of those mistakes dragged me closer to who I actually am, not who I thought I should be. And that's the quiet victory of imperfection. So here's the moment that it all clicked for me. The day I stopped trying to be perfect was the day that my life got a lot better and a lot lighter as well. I sleep better now, I laugh more, I have way more fun, and I forgive myself a whole lot quicker too. Ironically, I also show up much better these days too, because when you're not wasting energy on appearances, you've got more left for living. I always say this, that imperfection is not failure. It's just proof that you're actually living this life and that you're participating in what life has to offer. So here's my invitation to you. Drop the act, embrace imperfection. Let yourself be gloriously unfinished. Because life isn't about being flawless, it's about being real. And that is more than enough. Keep wondering, and I'll see you on another video really soon.